3,
Two.
2,
Now going for two for the tie. And some trickery. How about that play?
1.
On the back, smiling.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Three3. I'm your host, Connor Roundtree. You can follow me on Twitter at SportsWithTree. Now, what's number 3 this week? It is hockey, baby. That's right. It's finally time to hand out some hardware in hockey. And it all starts with the World Hockey Championships this weekend. The semifinals run Saturday, and the finals are running on Sunday. Now, who are in the semifinals is Team Canada versus the Swiss. The Canadians were able to get by the Russians in the quarters in overtime thanks to Ryan O'Reilly's beautiful finish on that goal there. So I like the Canadians. I think they're going to beat the Swiss. They're just too deep. Connor McDavid has been playing amazing hockey, and he has 8 goals in 8 games. So I just don't see how the Swiss can beat the Canadians. Then the other semifinal, it's the Swedes versus the Americans, and captain Patty Kane, 8 goals, 11 assists, 19 points in 8 games. And the rest of the American offense, they've been firing. So I like the Americans to knock off the Swedes. So for the gold medal game, Canada versus USA. In preliminary action, it was the Americans taking the win in the shootout, 5-4. I think if the Canadians can lock down defensively and try to stifle Patrick Kane and that American offense, they should be able to come away with a gutsy win. Now, if you have been watching Team Canada play at the World Hockey Championships, you will notice on their helmets, the Canadian logo is green and gold, the color of the Humboldt Broncos. The Broncos will be icing a team next season if you weren't aware. They've invited 200 prospects to try out for that team. So our thoughts and prayers are still with the families over that tragedy, but it's great for that city to have hockey back in Humboldt.
2.
Number 2 this week on Three3, we get our first ever footy action, baby. That's right, it's the FA Cup. Manchester United versus Chelsea, 2 storied teams. We'll start with Manchester United. They had a pretty good year, finishing second in the EPL, but still weren't able to collect any hardware. Chelsea, on the other hand, well, they were EPL defending champions, and they finished 5th, not even making it to the Champions League. Head coach Antonio Conte is on the hot seat, so Chelsea should be playing hard for them. In my opinion, Man U has to be able to bring home some hardware after a successful season. So if you're a Chelsea fan, watch out what bar you go to this weekend.
Oi! Get bloody out of you. This is a private members bar. Exclusively for the supporters of the greatest football team in the world. Manchester United. Now please, enlighten me. Who the f*** are ya?
We're the Manchester United fan club from Ohio.
If you're Manchester United supporters, sing the Manchester United song.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm not much of a singer.
Ah! Sing!
My baby takes another home again to find me watching the Manchester United football team. Ah? The best freaking team in all the land. Woohoo!
Pretty good. Pretty damn good, lads!
Pretty damn good, lads! On Three3, we're taking the Red Devils!
1.
And number 1 on Three3 this week, we got some horse racing, baby. That's right, the Thoroughbreds, the second leg of the Triple Crown, the Preakness slate. And the winner of the Kentucky Derby, Justify, is looking pretty good. Although Justify did suffer an injury on its back of the leg after the Derby, trainer Bob Baffert is pretty confident.
He went out there today and he didn't feel anything, and you know, it's those things you just don't know when they're gonna sneak up on you, but right now I think I'm not really worried about it.
If you're not as confident as Bob is in his horse, then you may want to take a look at Good Magic. Good Magic has a 3-1 chance of winning this race, and at the Kentucky Derby, finished second right behind Justify. Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of Three3. For our producer Aaron Canton, I'm Connor Roundtree. You can follow me on Twitter at SportsWithTree. As for our weekly trivia, who won last year's Memorial Cup? That's right, the Memorial Cup kicks off this weekend, and who won it last year? All you have to do to get your name into the Blue Jays Trivia Raffle is either comment and like on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and our website. Thanks for joining us. Cheers. You've made it to the weekend.